You've probably heard about digital nomads, right? That whole culture of people who've swapped their office cubicle for a laptop on a beach somewhere amazing. Well, today we're diving into something totally different. It's not just about watching their lifestyle. We're going to break down this incredible new interactive documentary that lets you become one. You get to make the calls, face the consequences, you literally shape the story yourself. So the whole thing kicks off with this really simple but powerful question. And as it hangs there, you're hit with these gorgeous cinematic shots. Think lush rice fields in Bali, those old, charming cobbled streets in Lisbon, the buzzing energy of Mexico City. It's designed to pull you right in, you know? It's selling you the dream, that idea of total, absolute freedom. Okay, but right when you're fully swept up in that fantasy, it pulls a fast one on you. This is where it gets really interesting. This is not a film you just sit back and passively watch. Nope. This is an interactive journey. You're in the driver's seat, and every single choice you make from here on out, well, it changes everything. And I mean, it starts immediately. Like before you even get to scene one, you've got this massive decision to make. Who are you going to be? And look, this isn't just some silly gimmick. This one choice completely rewires the entire narrative you're about to step into. I mean, just look at these options. They're totally different worlds. Pick the freelancer and bam, your story is all about chasing clients and hanging out in co-working spots in Bali. Choose the entrepreneur, and now you're in Lisbon, networking at startup events. If you go with the remote employee, get ready for some serious time zone headaches. Or you could be the seeker, and your journey becomes this whole quest for meaning, full of yoga retreats and cultural deep dives. 4 completely separate stories. But it doesn't just stop at that first choice. Oh no, that's just the starting line. All the way through this thing, you're constantly hit with these branching paths. You're always making calls that have real, actual consequences for where your story goes next. Here's a perfect example. At one point, you get a choice. Do you stick with what you know and stay in a classic nomad hub like Chiang Mai? Or do you roll the dice on an up-and-coming spot like Tbilisi, Georgia? This is what's so cool about the design. One click, and you're exploring the well-trodden path. Another click, and you're suddenly dealing with totally new visa rules and a whole different set of opportunities. Your story literally splits into 2 different timelines. So you might be wondering, how does it keep track of all my choices? Well, it uses this really smart system they call the Nomad Index. The best way to think about it is like a personality score for your journey. Every little decision you make gets logged, kind of gamifying the whole thing and slowly building this unique profile of what kind of nomad you are. And what's it tracking exactly? Well, it boils down to 4 key things: how much you value freedom, how important income stability is to you, your work-life balance, and how deep you want to go with cultural immersion. So, behind the curtain, every single choice, whether it's about money or your personal values, is tweaking these sliders and sculpting your unique nomad profile. And believe me, they throw some very real problems at you. Like, what do you do when the Wi-Fi cuts out right in the middle of a massive client presentation? Or what about when that new country excitement fades and you just feel lonely? Or that pure panic when you realize your visa is up next week? These aren't just for drama. They're real turning points that seriously impact your story and your Nomad Index scores. Now, this is where it gets really cool. This whole thing isn't just a fun choose-your-own-adventure game. It does something brilliant. It connects the simulation to the real world by building in a bunch of super practical tools right into the story. Yeah, check this out. You get what they call a nomad planning kit. So you can actually put this stuff into practice. There's an interactive map where you can check out real visa options around the world. There's a budget simulator to see what your cost of living might be. You can even see how your choices compare to everyone else's through these community polls. And to top it all off, it's packed with video diaries from actual nomads, which just adds this amazing dose of reality. Okay, so let's look at a classic one they hit you with. What would you pick? 80 grand a year in New York City or 40 grand in Bali? I mean, that's the ultimate question, right? Money versus lifestyle. And what's awesome is you get to see the live results from people all over the world, so you can see just how you stack up on this core nomad dilemma. All right, so after he's made all these choices, faced all these challenges, near the end of your journey, the whole vibe changes. It gets a lot more reflective. It kind of sits you down and makes you face the big central question that's at the heart of this entire lifestyle. And they do this with a really powerful split-screen image. On one side, you've got the dream, the postcard sunsets, the constant adventure, that feeling of pure freedom. But on the other side, you get the reality check, the unstable income, the very real threat of burnout, and that deep down feeling of being disconnected from everyone you love back home. Which leads to the final, unavoidable question they put directly to you. After everything you've been through in this simulation, is this lifestyle really freedom? Or is it just a different kind of cage? One where you can never really switch off because, hey, your office is your laptop, and it's always with you. So here's the kicker. There's no one single ending. Instead, the final scene is a personalized summary based on your Nomad Index score. Maybe you always chose adventure over a steady paycheck and you get the explorer ending. Or maybe you were all about the money, so you end up as the hustler. The story wraps up with a reflection that is 100% tailored to the choices you made. In the end, this whole experience is kind of like a mirror. It stops being a story about digital nomads and becomes a story about you and what kind of nomad you might be. It's a really powerful new way to tell a story, one that isn't just handed to you. It's one you build yourself, your choices, your story, and ultimately, your ending.